Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Miss Linda C. Jones YouTube variety channel. How's everybody out there doing on this International Women's Day or Woman's Day? It is Tuesday, March the 8th, 2021. As I have shared in previous videos, I really don't want my channel to be about, just lots and lots of weight commentary, just because I don't mega feel comfortable talking about it all the time, but I do feel that it is an inspiring story. And my point in doing so is that if I am able to inspire any of you that may be wanting to lose weight and searching for a very healthy option, I hope that I can be of inspiration to you. I must share with you my disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not a healthcare professional whatsoever. So by all means, I am not giving out advice or instruction as to how to take care of your own personal health. Please, by all means, check with your own doctor, your own healthcare physician, and do your own research. So what I'm going to do is just share with you a little bit about my weight loss journey thus far. 58 and losing weight. I am 5'8", 58 years old. I was born at the end of 1963 in the era that was just about to embark upon peace, love, and flower power. The Beatles had not yet flown into the United States of America, but they were just about to let the world know exactly who they were, and thus, probably my favorite group of all times, and probably as a professional musician, among my own music that I've written, my original pieces, when it comes to cover music, it's probably why I love performing a lot of music of the Beatles, as well as, of course, listening to them, and I've always been a big fan. Okay, but back to the weight loss journey. I am 58 and losing weight. I really don't want to do too many videos on this topic at this point. Never say never, but maybe in the next day or two, I'll do another video on this because I'm getting ready to have some dinner and with my nephew, and I'm mega excited about that. And so I'm just going to go ahead and make this video as short as I possibly can. And so maybe I'll do a follow-up in a few days. Okay, so the picture on the left is a current picture of me. It was taken approximately 5 to 6 weeks ago at my home parish church ministries thank you supper for employees and volunteers. The picture on the left is about 6-7 years ago, during the season of Mardi Gras at the Orpheus Parade, and my sister and I met the actor that's standing next to me, Mr. Gary Sinise. He was not only kind enough and gracious enough to pose for pictures with us, which was phenomenal, but he also autographed a DVD for my nephew Ryan. He autographed it so that we could give that to him, of the movie Forrest Gump. So that was mega cool. Anyway, in this picture, you can see that my face is quite larger, so I'm much larger than I am now. So first of all, I have been losing slowly. I have been losing slowly for about, I would say, 3.5 years or so. I've been losing weight slowly and healthily. And many studies, do your own research, check with your own doctor, but many studies have shown that when you are on a healthy weight loss regimen and you lose weight slowly, many studies have shown that you will keep the weight off. And fad diets or crash diets that are massively calorie restricting, many studies show that in those cases, weight can come back rather. So again, something worth doing your own research for. I have pretty much most of, my adult life from, I would even say from even before I was 18, I would say in high school, like maybe around the age of 14, 15, I became incredibly health conscious. And so it was around that time that I um, noticed that I had an amount of weight on me that was not comfortable. I was very, very thin as a little girl. But right around the 12 to 14 age, I had started to gain weight. And so when I was in high school and junior high at 14, I went on a diet of sorts that was not really a crash diet. It was pretty good. I was just having some meats and vegetables, had never read about food combining. Excuse me. I had never read about food combining, etc. But I instinctually, along with my mother and grandmother who raised us, just knew, okay, vegetables, salad, meat, and just cut out sweets, right? So that sort of sounds like many things that are going on now. What I have learned is that we have to be consistent when we're on any kind of health regimen, because if we're not consistent and it doesn't become a part of our daily life, and also very, very key, something that we're going to want to do the rest of our lives, something that we are going to want to maintain, because when it is a way of consuming food, and we'll talk about exercise in just a little bit. Oh, excuse me. I'm having to clear my throat a lot. Last week I was dealing with what so many have been dealing with, allergies. Allergies have been running rampant. So, my apologies for the throat clearing. Anyway, so you have to be consistent, and I'll get to a little bit about exercise in just a minute. And I am trying to keep this video just, on the short side. But anyway, so then some of the weight came back. And then when I was in my late 20s, I was doing an arts and enrichment program at a huge high school in the greater metropolitan area of my beautiful historic hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. And I worked with the moderately mentally challenged exceptionality along with a team of teachers. And so at that time in my late 20s, there was an endowment for about 8 years for me to come on board. In other words, it paid for me to do this program. When that particular endowment ran out, then, of course, I was also at the same time or simultaneously working in my home parish. But most musicians have to have a myriad of positions with a main job of sorts. And so that's how it is with my home parish. That's where I work as a music minister. But anyway, so I was doing this at a high school, and a really, really phenomenal mentor friend of mine, who I want to say she's about 24 years older than I am. I had actually had some other connections of someone who is her cousin, a really, really good friend of mine. Anyway, she and I became very good friends. Her name is Janelle. Hey, Janelle, if you're listening. And oh, what a phenomenal teacher she was. And or because has since retired. Okay, I have a phone call, so let me get that. Okay, I'm gonna have to take that phone call in just a little bit. Okay. All right. So anyway, I noticed that every morning she would eat fruit on an empty stomach because I would visit her on my off period. She taught piano and she also taught fine arts at the high school. So we bonded over the fine arts program and the music. Okay, so I noticed that she was eating fruit every morning on an empty stomach. So I asked her, "What are you doing?" And she showed me this book called Fit for Life by Marilyn and Harvey Diamond. And it was about food combining. And man, oh man, because it's like, wow, right? Because, she was doing this and gave me this book about 3 weeks later and wrote a beautiful note in it and said, "Look, you're beautiful just the way you are. But when you asked about this book and what I was doing to stay so slim, etc., thought you might like to read it. So that opened up a whole new world for me because it allowed me to learn about, by reading this book, what happens in the body from the time you begin the process of digestion, right? When you start consuming your food and digesting the food. And a biggie that I learned from that book is that digestion utilizes more physical energy than any other activity than you can partake in, right? And so when we mix certain foods like meats and potatoes, for example, it utilizes a tremendous amount of energy to break down that combination. And so weight loss is way, way, way more difficult. That's a little snippet of that. Maybe I'll just do an entire video on food combining at another time. But I read the book and it was absolutely extraordinary. And as I continued to read more books and learn more and more and more about weight loss, food combining, which is a big part of this book, Fit for Life, and I learned about the South Beach diet, and I learned about um, so many different, sugar busters, and then the low carb craze, i.e. low carb and or keto. And so in my studies, what I learned about some of these that I'm mentioning is that they're all very similar and they're very healthy and they work. They're all similar, they're very healthy, and they work. And basically, it is foods that turn to sugar for many people. You don't have to be a diabetic. I'm not a diabetic, which I'm very grateful for. But many, many people out there have something known as insulin resistance. And from my studies, according to what I've read, you don't have to be a diabetic to be insulin resistant. Check with your own doctor about that. But here's my point. When you have some sort of insulin resistance, which is something that many, 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 many people out there go through, it keeps you from being able to burn calories as well, and it puts weight on you because it's not good fats that turn to fat on your body. It is sugar that turns to fat. So that's been the big paradox for many, many years because we were all told that it was fat that turned to fat. Now, there's a lot more to that because, food combined in appropriate orders makes a big difference as well. And keto is, there are some days that I go full blown keto and I'll just do like, anything that is keto, whether it is, you know, um, eggs and bacon, pasture raised, of course, organic, and avocado. And I may, eat like that most of the day. But there are other days that my diet consists of more, and it's really more of a way of life, what I'm doing, more low carb paleo, because I do believe that it's incredibly important to get the vegetables in. So the low carb vegetables, the complex carbs are very, very good for us. Now this is a very abbreviated version because I think I probably need to do subsequent videos that go a little more in depth as to what is low carb, what is keto, what is paleo, what is, sugar busters, and why those things don't work for weight loss. But very long story short, to just give you a brief overview, 3.5 years ago, I started doing low carb slash keto, and then slowly but surely incorporating low impact exercise, of which I'm still building upon. I'm working really hard to get more exercise, but I do a little bit of weight and upper body exercise along with a bike. It's a stationary bike that burns a lot of calories. For my particular situation, I need low impact. So I need low carb, low impact. Um, so I've had many, 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 many wonderful compliments about my weight loss, and it's made me feel really great. Um, As I'm about to try to wrap this video up, because I can see now I was going to do one video and this is going to be a little bit of a longer process to explain my weight loss journey, 58 and losing weight. But one of the things that um, I've noticed over the past 3 years is that I've definitely kept the weight off, which I'm extremely excited about. My clothes are very, very loose on me. I really can't keep up with it because you don't want to buy a ton of new clothes and then not be able to wear them. So I've kind of found creative ways, to work around that. But some of my clothes do hang on me. So, I try to work on that. I don't like things that are too tight fitting anyway. But anyway, um, so there are people that have just been phenomenally complimentary, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that. But one of the things that I would say on this International Women's Day is this is another opportunity to share with all of you how incredibly important it is for us to lift one another up, for us to build one another up instead of knocking one another down, how incredibly important it is for us to support one another. I think that's incredibly important. Some people that I know, and it's actually been a little bit surprising, but when I started losing weight, they had never said, they were very kind to not say anything about my weight prior to my losing weight. They were very kind to not say anything prior to my losing weight. But then the minute I started losing weight, I would say the larger percentage, very supportive, very kind. But there was this little smaller percentage of people that I interact with, and they would make a comment, and then they noticed that I was losing weight. And then all of a sudden, when they asked how it was, suddenly they had a much better way to lose weight than me. And actually, a couple of times it was actually quite mean and quite hateful, with someone trying to get me to go on this plan, which I won't mention the plan, but it totally goes against everything I stand for. I'll never do it. And I know several people that tried that plan and they basically almost passed out because it's extremely unhealthy calorie restriction. So, I am definitely not into extremes of that nature. It's not healthy, and losing weight that fast is not sustainable, especially according to the research. But what I would say is, there are many healthy plans. There are people that are on other plans that have lost weight and are losing weight that is not the plan that I am participating in, and that's very healthy. And so what I say to those people is congratulations. That is phenomenal. It's absolutely positively wonderful, right? People that are on other plans that are healthy, that work for them. But what I would say, and I'm going to say no pun intended, but truly, here is another extraordinary example of how one size does not fit all. Let me repeat that. For our health in all sorts of capacities, again, check with your own healthcare physician, but one size doesn't fit all. And right? One size doesn't fit all. And so because one size does not fit all, it is incredibly important to zero in on yourself as an individual for your particular healthcare needs. And if you see someone losing weight and, they're doing all the healthy things, then if you can't say something nice, as the old saying goes, then don't say anything at all. Because those people, if just because they may not be on your plan or vice versa, they're to be commended for what they are doing. I rose above it. I really didn't let it hurt me too much. It kind of upset me a little bit because here I am doing this incredible, amazing thing. And not only did they start telling me how to lose weight, and what was hilarious was that these were people that didn't even need to lose weight. It was so funny. But they wanted me to do their plan, and instead of like, wow, congratulations. So I would just say that, if you see someone who is doing something great for themselves, applaud them, cheer them on and be supportive of them. Quite a few of my friends that may not have as much weight to lose as I am losing have lost weight, and we will share very healthy recipes with one another, and we will share information about each other's plan, and it's very healthy and very uplifting and very inspiring, and we cheer one another on because they're both healthy plans, and neither one of us are trying to get the other person to be on the particular plan that we're on, right? So I would definitely say, let's remember to support one another every day and lift one another up. I think when it comes to weight, there's always certain biological breakdowns. There are many reasons why people gain weight. And a lot of times it's a matter of educating yourself on why your body gains weight. I think that most of us have known people that never exercise and they just eat and eat and eat and eat, and they can eat whatever they want and they just don't put on pounds. I certainly know those people, like their entire lives, from the first time I met them till whenever. And in, my personal healthcare physicians, I've discussed this with them, and they said the reality is that there are scientific studies that certain body types are created, our body types are created differently, and there are certain reasons why people's bodies will hold on to weight, and certain reasons why other people's do not. Back to when I had lost a lot of weight with Fit for Life, and I was not as large as I am now, going back to my late 20s. I am 58 now. I've always been incredibly health conscious, but I gained it back really just by not keeping in the habits, and I actually love eating this way. I lost weight again in my mid 30s, and that was a really exciting time because I was embarking on going into the professional recording studio right here in my beautiful historic hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. And I was going into the recording studio, and it was massively exciting, and I had lost lots and lots of weight. After that time frame, about 4 years post the recording, or 5 years post the recording of my CDs, I had gone through a romantic relationship breakup, and then there were some other stresses I was going through, and then my and so I ended up putting on quite a bit of weight at that time. So when that happened, um, cortisol levels went up. I wasn't even really eating that much, but cortisol levels went up, and that was when the weight came back. So I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to share with you in the next video how I got from that point to where I am now and keeping the weight off. And I'm very excited about this. And so we will continue in the next video. So I'll try to do that tomorrow. Take care, everybody. God bless.